Putting in some earrings. I was gonna wait till I got dressed, but I'm just gonna put my earrings in now. Come on and prove why I should sit on it. Oh no. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Eyebrow pencil. Good morning. Oh. I've already primed my face. I actually feel like I need to do a little bit more primer on my eyebrows. My hair got caught in my I'm in such a good mood this morning. Like such a good mood. We're about to do our makeup. And then I feel like I should pluck my brows. I like my brows fresh and crispy. Hey girl, so let me ask this. How many people like in here don't get on Instagram? Because I'm always on Instagram live, and I was just over there saying that I want to do YouTube lives more, specifically because, well, two reasons. The main reason is because I don't really keep up my Instagram lives. Like if you don't catch it while it's live, you just didn't catch it, because I really don't be keeping those videos up. Versus YouTube lives, I keep these videos up. Thank you so much, Drea. I keep my YouTube lives up. So that's like the first reason for the people who like miss the lives. Because last weekend we had, was that Saturday? It was like Saturday. We had such a good live last weekend. And I was doing like story time, and y'all know I don't really do story times anymore, but I was doing story time on live last week, and it just was such a great live. We were talking for hours. What is this? We were talking for hours. So I just want people to be able to come back and still see a live if they missed it. And I know some people don't have Instagram. So are there people in here? Are the people that's in here right now, did y'all just come over from Instagram live? And how many people in here are like, because I know some people are completely off like Instagram and stuff like that. Ain't going, my brow's not too crazy, but I am about to film a YouTube video, so I want them crispy, but they're pretty fresh. They're not nothing too crazy right now. Got my eye watering as always. I don't have IG. Okay, then that's perfect. I feel like YouTube is one platform because it's not really a social media platform. Like I guess it is, but it's one of those social medias that if you don't post, you could just consume, and that's like normal, you know? So I feel like making the transition and coming live on YouTube instead of like Instagram just makes, ow, that one hurts. Ow. That just makes the most sense. I don't have a lick of anything in my stomach. I'm talking about even water, which is not like me at all. First thing I do when I wake up is drink my water with my vitamins, but I have not done either this morning yet. What do you guys have planned today? Or I guess this weekend is Thursday. Ooh, child. And where do y'all live at? I've been in Dallas, ooh, for almost a year now. I love Dallas or DFW way more than I love Houston. I really do. Houston, to me, like the best way I describe it to people who are trying to like differentiate, I feel like Houston is young, single, ready to mingle. Dallas is I'm grown, I'm ready to sit down, but still have a good time if I want to have a good time. That's what Dallas gives me. Like, it's nothing short of a good time, but everything in Houston is like Atlanta 2.0. It's like the damn, everything is a club. Regular restaurants turn into a club. It's a party city. I got back on dating apps this week. Well, let me not say apps. I'm literally only on Hinge. I do kind of want to, I'm thinking about maybe getting myself on one more app, but I'm going to just do Hinge for a little while and see how everything turns out. Because I'm honestly at a place where I kind of would rather meet my person in person, like naturally. But dating apps can be very, very helpful and convenient in terms of, matching with someone and potentially, meeting your partner. So I like Hinge. I know some people don't like Hinge. Hinge is my favorite dating app, if I'm being honest. But I definitely think that I'm gonna give it a few more days, but I definitely think I'm gonna upgrade and pay for like the advanced Hinge where I can filter just a little bit more than I have it filtered now. Okay, Georgia, North Carolina to hurricane will do the east, and I'm not trying to go to work. Oh my God. I thought the hurricane was done because my family lives in Maryland, and their power just came back on from having a hurricane. In Ohio, it's my first high school football game is this weekend. Oh my God, that's exciting. I love football season. I fucking love football season. I wish I'll say the only thing that I don't like about Texas, aside from politics, baby, is I wish we got all 4 seasons. Like, I like the fact that it's hot, but like, I love fall. I really love fall. I'm back on Snap for those of you who do have Snap. Snap, I've only been back on for a week, and wow, how Snap, I've missed you so much. I'm so happy to be back on there because Snap is just very freeing to like let loose and talk about whatever I want to talk about. I'm starving. I definitely need to eat something when I'm done getting dressed. I definitely need to eat something. But yeah, I be yapping away on Snap. Before I even went on Instagram Live last week, I was doing like a story time on Snap, and then I just end up finishing the story time on Live. It feels good to be back at a space where I feel more open to talk about things because y'all know, dang, we've been back on Snap the same time. No, like I didn't know that people was really still using Snap, but like apparently that's where like creators are just a lot more open, and it makes sense. I completely get what they're saying now because sorry, I've had a cough for like a week or something now. But creators basically said that Snap is where they just can be themselves because on Instagram story, like even if you're telling a good story, nobody wants a long Instagram story post. Like nobody wants to see that. But on Snapchat, it's like normal. So I was telling a story time last week, and that was what actually prompted me to get on live and like finish the story. But I really kind of wish that I came on here and went live because that was such a good live. That was such a good one. I need to get up and make some damn. I don't really want breakfast, but I do want a smoothie. Tell me this, y'all. Has anybody in here ever dated an Aquarius? And if you have, what's tea? Because I've heard nothing but bad things about Aquarius men. I've heard nothing. I am an Aquarius, and I've never dated an Aquarius man. And yeah, like, what's tea? This guy that I matched with a few people, obviously. But you know, some people always stand out above other people. And this particular person, I'm pretty optimistic about where this is going to go. It's very, very new, like very new. We haven't even gone on like our first date yet, but you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with being optimistic. I'm a optimistic person in general, and I'm optimistic about this particular connection because we have a lot in common. Like we have a lot in common. Just given our just talking about like our goals for life, our family life, just a lot. We have a lot in common. So I'm curious to see where this connection goes. Um, I'm hoping that the first date goes well and that this is like a really fruitful connection. That's all I hear as well. So wait a minute. Me and my best friend have dated Aquarius man, and they was both just not it. Megan, what's your sign? Because that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, that matters. I know a lot of people hate Geminis. I love Geminis because, for one, they're an air sign. I'm an air sign. And I'm also a Gemini moon. So when it comes to what's a good sign, what's a bad sign, it really comes down to what your sign is as far as not just compatibility, but complementary. Because there are two different things, and I realized that recently. Compatibility just means that you can work together without conflict. Complementary means that you guys work well together and help each other. So instead of me looking for someone that I'm compatible with, I want to be with someone who I'm complementary with, and I feel like that would be a fire sign. Specifically, I really would love to date a Sagittarius. I'm seeing a lot of polarities between Aquarius and Sagittarius. Okay, so I'm a Scorpio and she's a Leo. So that is water and fire. They don't mix. Water signs work well with either other water signs, which would be your compatible signs are other water signs, and your complementary signs are earth signs because you think water and earth, they make things grow. So if you're a Scorpio, I would definitely go for the earth signs, which are Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Or again, if you want someone that just complements you, I mean, one that is just compatible with you, I would go for other water signs like yourself. Okay, so wait, let me tell you about the first date. So no, the first date isn't set up, and I think that's because we're both busy this weekend. We both talked about like, you know, what we're doing this weekend. His friend is in town visiting, and my friend child is supposed to be landing in like an hour. I have a feeling that my friend isn't coming, if I'm being honest with you guys. But I know he said that his friend is coming in from out of town this weekend, so he'll be like hosting. So we haven't discussed like a first date, but we've had conversations about like, for one, some things that we like to do, what we're looking for, which I think is very important. I will say that this time around on the dating app, I'm being very, very, very intentional about only giving my time to people who I feel like actually have the potential to be a serious relationship and not just dating just for the sake of dating, because that's not going to get me anywhere with wanting to be in a serious relationship, you know? And I will say that it's not necessarily a goal of mine. Like, it's not that big of a deal, if I'm being honest. I'm not gonna say it's not that big of a deal, but it's not like the most important thing to me right now, is what I'll say. However, if I am going to be dating, it needs to be intentional. So I am not a Capricorn. I am an Aquarius. I thought I was a Capricorn too. I found out in 2020. This is why I'm just so happy to be back on YouTube. I'm actually about to film a YouTube video right now because I've talked about this. Everybody on Instagram already know, because I found out years ago that I was an Aquarius and not a Capricorn. And once I found that out, life just made so much more fucking sense for me. Like, life made so much more sense. But no, ma'am, I am a Aquarius sun. The only Capricorn in my chart is my Mercury, which is the sign, the planet of communication. That's the only Capricorn placement I have. I believe I might have another one. I feel like I'm a Capricorn Neptune as well. I think so. Oh, Taurus are out of the question. My last ex did a number on me. I'm good. Don't rule out a whole zodiac sign because of one person, because you have to know the difference between someone just not being a good person due to trauma versus somebody not being compatible with you. Because all signs have light and darkness in them. Every last zodiac. No zodiac is bad, no zodiac is good. We're just compatible or complementary with some over the other. But when we deal with certain things with certain signs, that doesn't mean that the sign is bad. It could just mean that you're with a person that is unhealed or operating from the shadow sides of themselves. So when you think of any zodiac sign and you think of the healed versions of those zodiac signs, they are very beautiful things. But then you think of, if the specific zodiac signs are not healed, you're going to be getting the shadow side, essentially. So I don't like Taurus. I will say that. I do not. Taurus men. As far as the women, I love Taurus women, but Taurus men, we are not compatible. We are not compatible even a little bit. One of the main things that I think about as far as me being compatible with Taurus men is the fact that Taurus men are very particular, which is fine. I'm particular as well. But Taurus men are very controlling. And I don't mean controlling in like an abusive way. I mean controlling in like, the song that I think of when I think of me and Taurus men, I think of Miley Cyrus, I Can't Be Tamed. Aquarius are very free-spirited, and which is another reason I want to date a Sagittarius, because apparently they're the same way. Sagittarius are very free spirits who don't like to be tamed. I shouldn't have said controlled. They don't like to be tamed. And I feel like when a lot of people hear that in regards to romantic relationship, they think that, like, you know, you should respect your partner and yada, yada, yada. Not feeling the need, like not wanting to be controlled, doesn't automatically mean that I'm going to disrespect my partner. But I like the freedom of just being who I am and kind of marching to the beat of my own drum. Like, I feel like, honestly, if I was to date a Taurus, like, I like solo trips, right? I feel like if I was to try to date another Taurus and I want to like take a solo trip, that would be something that would, like, they don't like that. Like, they don't like the independent, free-spirited nature that Aquarius have. So I don't like Taurus men for that reason. Pisces men, let's talk about it. Yeah, me and my sister Taurus, and that's literally my best friend. Yeah, Taurus women are, or just Taurus in general, I call Taurus women the bougie babes of the zodiac. Like, Taurus women are, they're so bougie. I love them for that. They're so fucking bougie. Pisces men. Here's my thing with Pisces men. They are my guilty pleasure. Not only are we not compatible, because that is water mixing with air, just a general census. You typically do not go along with the sign that is directly next to you because your elements are opposite. You have opposite elements. You have to skip a sign to have your complementary element, and you have to skip like 2 or 3 signs to have your, let me see how many signs you got to skip to have your compatible element. If I'm an Aquarius, my next compatible would be Gemini. So that's Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. So you have to go you have to go up 4 signs to get to your compatible one and skip a sign to get to your complementary one. I do agree that Pisces men can be very toxic. If somebody was to ask me, and this is, I study astrology, okay? I am not one of those people who experience one bad thing with a sign and I rule them out, or don't like the whole sign. Let me not say rule them out, because in understanding astrology, I do kind of rule out certain signs just because I know that we're not compatible. And your whole chart matters, but that's neither here or there. Pisces men, I love them though. Like, I really love them. I've probably dated more Pisces men than any other zodiac. And I don't say probably, I have. I've dated more Pisces men than any other zodiac sign. And I will say that I don't think that any of the Pisces that I've dated have been healed Pisces. I would love to see what they are like on a healed level, because in seeing the light that I do see and experiencing them in their darkness, and like seeing that light kind of like shine through in certain moments, I definitely think that a healed Pisces would just do it for me. I am very sexually compatible with Pisces, with water signs. I've never been with a Cancer, but water signs, Pisces, oh, Miss Ma'am. But I agree. Pisces, I hate to say it, these are the unhealed ones, can be very narcissistic. Pisces live in a fairy tale, and there is like dark and light. There's dark and light to that as well, because let me keep doing my makeup because I do have to film. Should I do another layer of like foundation, y'all, or y'all think I'm good? Or should I bust down another layer of foundation? Because I feel like you can see a little bit of, we're gonna do like a little bit more because we can see some like discoloration coming in. Or should I do some concealer? I think this concealer is my skin tone, or is it like lighter? No, this is a little bit lighter than my skin tone. Oh crap, I don't know where to put this now. That was on my leg. But okay. And tell me if y'all agree. I still haven't tried this yet. It's a 3-in-1 skin conditioner. It's not gonna really give me the coverage I need. So we're gonna stick with the foundation that I just fucking put on. Where'd it go? Oh no, wait, this is the concealer I was looking for. This one like matches my skin tone. Yeah, there we go. It's like a perfect match to my skin tone. Okay, so back to Pisces. They live in a fairy tale world, and the reason they live in the fairy tale world is because they are ruled by Neptune or the moon, or I feel like it's both. Like I think that they are ruled by both, but either way, it's Neptune. Pisces are ruled by Neptune. I'm not crazy. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. They're ruled by Neptune, and it's Geminis are ruled by the moon or Mercury. Because wait a minute, Mercury is the planet of communication. Geminis are also the planet. Now it's about to bother me. Now I gotta Google it. Geminis. Wait a minute. No, I'm thinking. Okay, Geminis are not ruled by the moon. They're ruled by Mercury. Because I'm thinking Gemini's ruled by the moon because I'm a Gemini moon. Pisces are ruled by Neptune. But anyway, them living in a fairy tale makes sense because they are the dreamers of the zodiac. So what that means is their manifestation abilities are naturally just up there. But when they are unhealed, they can get caught up in that fairy tale world and completely separate from reality. We're talking about astrology. Specifically right now, we're talking about Pisces men, because I'm asking people, I was asking a team like Aquarius man, so if you just come in and you've dated an Aquarius man, tell me what that experience was like. Oh, and then the people who did say they dated it, like y'all said, not the smirking while talking about them. I really do love them. They're my guilty pleasure. I say it all the time. Like, it's like, I know I don't need to be with those men. I know I don't need to date those men. But I'm so like, they'll fill your head up with flies. Does that count as a fantasy world? Okay, so to a certain extent, yeah, to a certain extent, because the thing is with Pisces, they live in such a fantasy that they believe their lies. Like, they believe their lies. And the reason why I say that healed or a Pisces operating from their light, that can be a really good thing, because our imagination is such a beautiful trait to be imaginative, and they naturally have that quality where they put things together in their head and they can manifest really well because of that. But again, if they aren't operating from a place of light, they can use that ability, for not good, So, and again, when it comes to their lies, the reason why I said narcissists, and I feel like that was a stretch. Let me not just sit there and label them as narcissists. What it is they'll get so caught up in their fantasy head that they will believe the they will believe their lies. So it's like they low-key don't even think that they're lying. So if you try to even like come to them with facts or proof or whatever, they're so caught up in this like delusional fantasy that it's like, and let me tell y'all why that doesn't work for me. Which again, I love it to a certain extent. Like, to be able to like have that much of like an imagination is such a beautiful thing, because it's like you can manifest because of that, like very, very well. And that's something that, because I am especially a double air, we get in our head and we apply too much logic a lot of the times, which can separate us from, that imaginative nature. So for me, them being that way doesn't, I love it. I love it. I really do. Like, I love listening to them talk about the things that they see in their head, and that it's not even in their head. To them, it's real, but I love hearing it. But I just wish that, specifically just me talking about me and Pisces, because I'm too much in my head and too logical, and they're too much in their head in a way of like imagination. I wish that we could like give a little bit to each other. Like, I give you a little bit of logic to help you out, and you help me be delusional. Like, Delulu is the Salulu in a lot of scenarios. In most scenarios, Delulu is the fucking Salulu. But again, an unhealed Pisces uses that delusion to a fault, and it irritates me. It irritates the shit out of me. Because I'm like, can we be for real for a second, please? Okay, but can we be for real for a second? Can't keep up with them sometimes. I don't try. I'm just keeping a buck. I don't try to keep up with them. The way I dated in my earlier 20s and the way I date now is very different. In my earlier 20s, it was definitely given very much, you cannot keep up with them. And I tried, because I was dating a Pisces let me tell you how much these Pisces got me in a fucking chokehold. Not the only two, I don't date men with kids, right? Why the only two men I've dated with kids are both Pisces? Like, in the first Pisces that I dated, I got that man tattooed on my finger, and we weren't even dating for a month. It's something about them, though. It's something about them. But yeah, the younger version of me, I was 21. The first time well, not even the first time I dated a Pisces. I'm lying. The first time I dated a Pisces was in high school, and that man broke my heart. Like, it's something about these fucking Pisces that is just like, I love them. I really do love them. But it's just like, we are not compatible, but I love them. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Has to be strong mind, or you'll get caught up in the BS. I completely agree. The first two times I dated Pisces, they were a lot. Like, the first Pisces I dated was in high school, and I was so in love with that man, y'all. It took me over a year to get over that man. I'm not even playing. Like, I'm not even playing. We only dated for like 6 months. Matter of fact, oh my God, not the parallels. I think all of the Pisces I've dated have lasted for about 6 months. I've only dated 3, and they've all lasted 6 months exactly. Like, not exactly, but like around this. That's crazy. Now that I'm sitting here, like, I never made that connection till just now. Wow. But I agree. You do have to be strong-minded or you'll get caught up in the BS. The first time I dated a Pisces, I was in high school. I was 17 years old. I was so in love with that man, and I did get caught up in the mess. He was dating, I was cheer captain, and he was dating, I don't know if y'all had like this when y'all did cheers, but I had a girl to my left and a girl to my right, and they were just my left hand and my right hand. He was literally dating my fucking right hand. Like, no, not dating. He was getting his hoo-ha by her because she was a virgin, so she wasn't like giving up the nookie, but she was definitely giving up that. Yeah, so it was so messy. I was so caught up in that. I ended up forgiving him. 17-year-old me, I ended up forgiving him, and we got back together, and we broke up after. That had nothing to do with cheating. He just stopped. He just started acting real weird, and I was just like, I'm leaving you. But it took me a long time to get over that man. I'm not even, it took me a year. I'm not playing, y'all. I was messed up behind him. And then the next time I dated a Pisces was when I was 21. Again, that was the very first time that I dated a man with a child. And I also was not, really strong-minded during that time. I was only 21, so I was pretty young. And I wasn't even in a good space where I should have been dating. Really, I was not in a good space. If you remember that era, that was when I went on that like hiatus where I was completely gone off social media for about 6 months. That whole time I was gone, I was dating that man. That wasn't why I was gone, but I was dating him like the whole time, which is why a lot of people never even knew about that relationship, because it started, not no lie, the week before I went away, and we ended like 3 weeks before I came back. So like it literally like only existed during that like hiatus. He didn't mess me up too bad when I left. Like when I left him, I ended up falling in love with an Aries man. Oh God, them Aries men. So that one didn't mess me up, but while I was in it, it was very much one of those things where I felt like I had to keep up, and it feels like, yeah, like you said, like you have to keep up. And like you said, if you're not strong-minded, you will lose yourself in that, because I was not strong-minded during that time. That man was able to lie to me, and I knew in my intuition, like that was the guy, they are so fucking delusional. That was the guy that like left out while I was sleeping. I woke up, he was gone. He come crawling in the house the next morning. I asked him where he was. He said he left out to walk to the gas station to get something to drink and got locked out the house. And his aunt ran into him and found him passed out on the street and took him to her house, but she didn't have a charger, so he couldn't call me. That was what that man told me. And I don't know if he believed it, but he wanted me to. And I was like, oh, brother, like, please. Oh, I love you, Barbie Ruffin. That water be cleansing and healing. That's what you right, Barbie Ruffin. You are right. They are very healing. You're right. And you're right. Even though we are a air signs, Aquarius are water bearers. So you're right. They're out. That makes sense, girl. That makes sense. Aries men are a mess. What's your zodiac? Wait, Letitia, aren't you a Leo? Or did you say, yeah, you're a Leo, right? You should actually go well with Aquarius, because y'all are both fires. I mean, you should go well with Aries if you're a Leo, because y'all are both fire signs. Can you tell us if things ended well or badly with Chris? So they did end very well. Yeah, they ended pretty well. The actual situation that caused me to like how do I explain it without like giving, I feel like it's kind of been enough time to kind of talk about it. without saying too much, because I still don't want to really get into too much details about like why we broke up. So I'll just be pretty, yeah, let's talk about it. So, and this is the part where I won't say too much. I get into details as far as like why we weren't compatible, because he is a man that I love and he treated me very, very well, and that man genuinely loved me. So I don't want to ever say anything that would just sound nasty or negative about him. So let me just give that little disclaimer first, which is why I've always been kind of vague in my answers of why I left that relationship. But in a nutshell, we just weren't compatible is really what it came down to. I got to a place where I wanted to get, I was ready to start dating for marriage, and I didn't want to marry him. Honestly, when I got into the relationship with him, if you follow that whole journey from like when Chris and I met to the end, you know how everything came about, even the whole open relationship thing, because I don't feel like going down the whole story about how all that even came into account. But I will say that when I went into that relationship, I should have put on some liquid blush before I put that powder on my face. But when I got into that relationship, I knew that we weren't, I'm not gonna say compatible, but I'm gonna say that I knew that he wasn't what I was looking for in a husband. But when we met, I was 22 and I thought like, oh, we're just gonna have fun. I just wanna have fun with this guy. I had just moved to Florida and we were just having a good time. I did not think that we were gonna last 3.5 years. I did not think I was gonna fall in love with that man. And again, we were gonna be together for 3.5 years. So in going in the relationship at 22, I already knew that like we weren't compatible. But one thing about us women, once we fall in love, even if it don't make sense, we're gonna try to make it make sense. And even if it don't fit, we're gonna try to make it fit. So it kind of became one of those things where, again, this comes with maturity, but like, oh, he has the potential to be, never get caught up on potential. Like, please never get caught up on the potential of a man, because they don't date for potential. They don't see a woman that's unattractive and be like, oh, well, she has the potential to be pretty with like lipo and some filler. Like they don't fucking see a woman that's like, she has the potential to be pretty. So why do we see a man and be like, oh, he has the potential to be a good husband, or he has the potential to da 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 da. Don't play in your face like that. But I did, because again, young, and you live and you learn. But I was also in love, and I just wasn't ready to leave him. Like I knew, and I was constantly having that battle with myself and talking to my friends like, should I leave, should I stay? I was constantly having that battle, and it wasn't because he was treating me bad, because he wasn't. And that was why it was so hard to leave, because before Chris, I was in an abusive relationship. So going from a relationship where you're being treated like crap to being with a man who loves you, I wanted to let that be enough. Like him treating me good and treating me really like a human being was enough after being in a relationship where I was literally getting the crap beat out of me. So that was like the foundation, if I'm being honest. It was because I was, the previous relationships, even before the one before him, they were toxic, and the men were not treating me good at all, and that was not like that with him. So that was what I stood on the entire time, and that was why it was so hard to leave, because when all you've seen and all you experience is toxic men, and now you're with a man who is not toxic, he loves you, he is peaceful. If that's all you've experienced before, subconsciously you feel like that type of man is rare, even though on a practical level, in terms of goals and our life path and what he wanted out of life and what I don't want out of life, they did not align. I was trying to make him fit because I did not want to give up a man who was treating me so good. So that was what that conversation was like behind the scene with my friends for years, where I'm like, he's not this, and I feel like it's not going to work because of this, but he just treats me so good. That was my story for the whole time. And again, as more time went on, I started to get like, where's my other blush? I started to get like irritated. Like I started to get like, because then it started to become a like bare minimum thing. And that's when it started to feel like, you treating me good is not enough. Straight up. Like because then it started to feel like he wasn't toxic and he wasn't treating me bad, but he wasn't treating me good. Does that make sense? And let me see if I can talk about this. Like enough time has gone by. I can talk about this. This is my first time like publicly talking about this. So this is when I realized, and this is what I mean by he was not treating me bad. He wasn't beating me up. He wasn't calling me out my name, nothing like that. But he was not treating me good after a while. And it was when I turned 25, y'all. A month before my birthday, he's like, yeah, because if y'all saw what I did for his 25th birthday, like I went all out. It's still on my Instagram. I went all out. And financially, I was not at the best space at that time because it was around my launch for my clothing line. Excuse me. But I was kind of tapped financially. But if y'all seen that video of what I did for his birthday, again, if you scroll down on my reels, you can't see it on like the regular page, but if you switch to the part that's the reel and you scroll down, you can see what I did. I lied to you now, y'all. Did that with like $60 because that's all I had at the time. I had ordered him his gift like a month before his birthday because I knew I was going to be tapped financially after investing into my clothing line. I also need to put y'all on the charge before this shit dies because I'm be mad if it died while we having such a good conversation. So let me put it on the charger. Ugh. Let me see if this charger can reach up here. And will better reach up here. I'm sorry, y'all. That's so gross. Oh my God. I'm sorry, y'all. I hated to do that on live, but I told y'all I'm like getting over a cough and I gotta get this mucus out of my body. So when it come up, I gotta just spit it out or I'm gonna keep coughing. But so like I said, I ordered his where'd my fucking other powder go? I ordered his birthday present. It was a watch. I got him an Invicta watch or Fossil, probably Invicta. I got him a watch like a month before his birthday because I knew I wasn't gonna have a lot of money. And then a week of his birthday, I'm like, 25 is a big number. And that was like my big thing. Like 25 is like the big numbers are 13, 16, 18, 21, 25, 30, 40, 50, you know? So 25 is like, is when your frontal lobe finished. Like 25 is a big number. So with that $60, y'all, I did the most. Y'all watch the damn video. Like I basically turned my whole office. I took the furniture out and I turned it into a romantic candlelight dinner. I did what I could with some groceries to make a really nice meal. Like I really stretched that $60 best I could. Like I was running around town because I did not have a lot of money to work with. So I had to go to like Family Dollar to get the candles. I got the rose petals for cheap off of Amazon. Even the 25 balloon, I got it cheap because it was cheaper on Amazon. I just took it to the store and got it blew up. Like I baked him a cake. Well, I would have baked him a cake anyway. Even if I could afford to get one, I would have still baked him a cake. But I just did the most to really make him feel special and appreciated. That's in November, his birthday. So December comes, my birthday is in January. And he was like, yeah, like, I can't wait to really, show out for your birthday next month. Like, I'ma plan it. Like, I want you to have a good birthday. So I didn't plan my birthday because I planned something small. Like I wanted to go out with brunch with my friends, but that was just brunch with my friends. Like I was leaving it up to him. And mind y'all, we lived together. So it wasn't a matter of he didn't have the money because I knew what his finances was. I knew when he got paid, what went to bills, because he made the money and I managed the money. Like he would send the money to me and I would pay for what needed to be paid for. So I knew that our bills were like caught up, but come my birthday, like our bills had been caught up for a month, so nothing really had to be paid in January. I think we only had like one bill that month. Like we didn't have to pay rent or nothing in January. So there were basically, what I'm saying is there was no excuse not to fucking have the fucking money. Y'all, I wake up on my 25th birthday. All he did, because let me say this, a few days before my birthday, like I said, I had to brunch with my friends. He paid for my food. Like, okay. Like, he didn't come, but he gave me his card. Like, lunch, obviously, the brunch is on me. I'm going to pay for it. But that was it. And I wake up on my birthday, and I was already mad because I woke up on my period. So that just kind of put my body in, like, not the best space that day. And nothing was planned. It's like, it was like, I did not even realize it the day before. It's just like, your birthday is coming. I didn't think too much into it. And then I woke up on my birthday and he was just playing the game. And I just was like, it's my 25th birthday. And it was like, in that moment, I realized that nothing was planned for the day. Like, I immediately realized that nothing was planned. So I think I like smoked some weed and went back to sleep. I had a miserable birthday for the most part. I stayed in bed all day because it was very much one of them days. He had planned nothing. And towards the night, I told my friends that I just was not having a good birthday. And it was like, pull up to our crib. We're going out. Like, it is what it is. We're going the fuck out. So I went over there. They had cupcakes for me. They got me the 25 balloons. I went out with my girlfriends. And that was that. And when I came home that night, I brought it up to him. I said, my exact words were, I said, I feel some type of way that it's my birthday. You didn't do nothing for me. And I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was just very nonchalant. Very nonchalant. And I will say this, and this is, this doesn't apply to everybody that's nonchalant. Sometimes people are nonchalant because they don't give a fuck about you. But that wasn't necessarily the case with him. His nonchalant, he is very non-confrontational, and to a point where he doesn't like the uncomfortable conversations. Not just with me, but just in general. He doesn't like the uncomfortable conversations. So he don't know how to communicate well. So we'll just not talk. And that was a common issue in our relationship where we would have arguments, even small arguments or small situations, and we would not talk for days over small stuff, but it would end up being bigger because he don't want to talk. Like, he doesn't want to talk at all about it. He would just lie to you not, y'all. All of our arguments got better because eventually I would get tired of not talking and I would just start talking to him again. But a lot of the times, nothing was ever actually getting resolved because he never wanted to talk. I would talk and he would be like, all right, whatever. And that would just be it. But on my birthday, I remember laying in bed, y'all. This man is on his phone scrolling while I'm crying on my side of the bed, talking about how it's my birthday and I just don't feel appreciated. And I realized that day that I was leaving that man. I said, absolutely the fuck not. I also realized that day that I will never put my birthday in a responsibility of someone else. I would never put my birthday in a responsibility of someone else. That was why next year, I remember people was asking me, why'd you go on a solo trip on your birthday? Because me and him was still dating a year later. That's a whole nother story as to why it took me so long to leave. Because I knew on my 25th that I was leaving that man, and I did not leave until I was 26. That's a whole nother story. But that was why I went on that solo trip, to answer your question over a year later, because people was asking me, why y'all didn't go together? Because I booked that trip by myself on purpose, because I felt like if I'm going on a trip with my man on my birthday, if they're not paying for it, you're not going. Because why would I go on a trip with you for my birthday and split the trip and split the cost? And it's my birthday. I'll go by myself. So that's why I did. As a matter of fact, I paid for my trip on his birthday. When his next birthday came in November, instead of me being a person, because I swore all year, I was like, I'm not doing nothing for him on his birthday. I just couldn't live myself. I could not do it. So I did the bare minimum. But one thing about him, he was a simple guy. The bare minimum to him was enough. I took him out to eat on his birthday, and he was happy. That's all I did was took him out to eat. But I didn't even get that. A balloon, a card, or nothing. Like, that's like nothing. He ended up got me a belated birthday gift. Like, he bought me some Uggs a few days after my birthday, and they came like a week later. And like, I took them, but it very much gave afterthought. And then it also gave like, this was so low effort because you don't even know me. Like, the amount that he spent for them 2 fucking Ugg slippers, you could have got the perfume that I've been told you that I fucking wanted, and not this bare minimum ass gift. And the reason why I call it a bare minimum ass gift, y'all know me. Have y'all ever seen me in some damn Uggs? That's like a man buying me some tennis shoes. I don't wear tennis shoes. So, not even a card. I'm not exaggerating. I did not get a card. I did not get a balloon. I got happy birthday, babe. That's it. Besides the brunch that he had paid for with my friends a few days ago, paying for my meal. That was it. And I do not want this to turn into a bashing session. So let me just continue. Because again, I do not want to bash that man because he was a good man. Like, it was just low effort. Is what it was. It was just low effort. That does not make him a bad person. It just makes him not the man for me. But I don't want this to turn into a bashing session because it's never given bash him. So a year later though, I ain't gonna talk about why I stayed so long. I'm gonna just try to give a quick little, because you're like, okay, you realized on your 25th, but you didn't leave him until you was 26. Basically, in a nutshell, I was still moving with the lack mindset, and I was afraid to leave. Not because I didn't think I could get better, because I had passed that point, but because he was taking care of us for all that time. And I wasn't really at a space anymore where I was doing well financially. I had stopped with my clothing line. I had already stopped doing YouTube. So I was just not at a space financially where I felt like I could like take care of myself. And that was ultimately why I'm stayed, if I'm being completely honest. That last year I was just like, and realistically, I could have just got back on YouTube or whatever, got a job, like whatever the fuck may be. But I was just very stressed and I felt very stuck. That last year I felt very stuck. I am glad, not so much that I stayed so long, but that I allowed myself to get past, because after my birthday, from my birthday in January up until May, June, we were not in a good space because I hated him low key. Like I was just so pissed at that point. I was pissed about my birthday. I had never let that go. And I just was just over him. Like I already knew I was leaving him. So I was just like, I just can't wait to leave you. Like, I can't wait to leave you. I can't wait to fucking leave you. I wasn't saying that to him, but in my head, I kept telling my friends, like, I can't wait. I'm saving for a place. Like, I can't wait to leave him. Like, I was just so over him. And I'm glad that, not glad of how I end up staying, because again, it was because of a place of lack. But I am glad that I, began to shift my perspective around May and June. And I basically, hold on, we're gonna do my nose. I started to shift my perspective around like May and June, and just remember why I fell in love with him in the first place, and realized like I stopped making myself the victim and took some responsibility for the fact that at the end of the day, you should have never put your birthday in the hands of that man. You also knew he was more of a bare minimum person before, even though he never just dropped the ball like that on your birthday. You also knew he wasn't very intentional with anything. So take some responsibility for staying longer than you should have. And that was a conversation I had to have with myself. And then I also had to extend love and remember why I fell in love with him in the first place, and realize like, okay, we may not be compatible, and yes, I'm still leaving you, but you are a good man and I do love you. So it was at that point where I was glad that we were able to get to that point, and I started just shifting my perspective to bring the love back into our relationship and stop expecting so much from him is what happened. Those last months or whatever of preparing to separate ourselves, I just stopped keeping my expectation. I stopped expecting from him. So I can't be disappointed. So we ended up lasting for the rest of the year because, again, finances. And towards the end of the year is when we had one little speckle. It was a very tiny situation, a very petty argument. And I was just over it. I did end up telling him, because the whole time that I knew I was leaving him, he didn't know that, but my friends knew. In September, I had broke down one day and like bursted out crying because I couldn't hold it anymore. It felt like word vomit when it finally came up that I was leaving. I was like, I have to leave you. And he was like, I know. He had already like went through my phone, but even aside of that, he's very intuitive, water sign. He said, I already knew it was coming. Like he said, I knew it was coming. He was like he said, it's fine, babe. Like, it was with love. Like, he gave me a hug. I hugged him. We held each other and we went to sleep. And it was just like, we knew that I was leaving, and we didn't really have a conversation about when, because we knew that financially, not even just financially, we were so integrated into each other's lives that we were relying on each other. I was relying on him financially, and he was relying on me to take care of the home and to manage the finances, because he was making the money but wasn't really well with managing it, and I was managing the money but wasn't making much of my own. So we were codependent on each other is what it was. We were relying on each other for our livelihood in more ways than one. He was the financial person. How long did he know you were leaving? I'm gonna answer the other question as well, but I told him I was leaving in September. Well, how long he actually knew, I don't know, because I didn't say it to him until September, but I felt like he intuitively knew. But he also had went through my phone, I feel like in like July. He went through my phone and saw me talking to my friends. So I think he kind of knew, like had an inkling for a few months, and then like confirmed it when he went through my phone. So yeah. No, I'm gonna do the pink. I'm gonna do this, or am I gonna do this? No, I'm gonna do the pink. So That lasted all the way until about February. We basically made the transition of the next place we were getting, because all the places we got except for like one were my places and like weren't on the lease. I didn't really see a point of both of us being on the lease because we weren't married, and I felt like if we break up, someone should be able to have to leave willy-nilly. So every place we had up except for one place, they were always in my name. They were always my places. But knowing that I was leaving, and we knew that we didn't, like I was just over it. Yeah, I'm so glad I chose the pink. That is just beautiful. Knowing that I was leaving, when we made the transition to get his last place, we made sure that it was his place and not my place. And I basically stayed with him those past 3 months because I wanted to help him transition and not help at all. And that's exactly what he did. He basically, from January to March, when we moved into his apartment, I put my hands up. I didn't do anything. He was still paying for our rent at the place that we were living at, and also saving and preparing for the new place, because I needed to remove my help and saying this money need to go here, this money need to do that. He took care of everything. He was making the money, and he was also managing the money. He was making sure that we were taken care of financially as far as food and our bills, and he was also doing all the work on his end. I didn't even know the place that he picked. It was all on him, all by himself, because again, we needed to separate ourselves. And that's when I started the process of like, okay, I need to be more financially reliant on myself. So I started to work on my own things. So once he moved into his place, now this is where we ended. We knew we were ended, but it ended bad. I'm about to spill some. I'm about to see if I'm going to say this. Yeah, I feel like enough time has gone by. I can talk about it now because it is what it is. Hold on. It's funny, I've never talked about this publicly. You have to think if you're going to speak it or not. No, I think I'm gonna say it, but I have never shared this part publicly. Not, but I just feel like if I'm gonna say what he did, I gotta say what I did too. Because I was about to just talk about what happened that made us ultimately, because we knew we was about to leave, but I ended up leaving like 10 days before it was actually planned for us to leave amicably because of something he did. So I was about to tell that, but it's not fair for me to say what he did and not talk about my shortcomings as well. That's not fair. So I told y'all, if you follow me on Instagram Live, I told y'all, hold on y'all, I need my mascara. So if you've been in my Instagram Live when I told this story, but I basically told the story of why I ended the relationship with my best friend. She was cheating on her husband, and I told her husband that she was cheating on her. And in retaliation of her telling her husband that she was cheating on him, she told Chris that I had cheated on him. And if y'all know, we were in an open relationship, but we had eventually had closed the relationship. And if you know, the only rule that we had when we were in the open relationship was that we were not going to be sexually intimate with other people. That was like our one like rule. And while the relationship was open, well, it was actually closed. So during my birthday, and that was another thing, I felt like the bare minimum went down when the relationship was closed. Let me say that, because when it was open and he was essentially competing with other people, there was an incentive to do better, because subconsciously you may feel like another nigga might grab your girl. Soon as we closed the relationship, I feel like the quality of the relationship went down, because not even just so much on his end. Let me not even put it on his end. I'll say it was probably more on my end, because I think to a certain extent, the bare minimum was always there, but I didn't realize how bare minimum it was because I had these outlets of dating other people. So in the places that he was lacking, I was able to get them from other spaces. So I was fulfilled. But once we closed the relationship, I realized within 3 weeks of closing the relationship that it was not going to last because I was just used to certain, there was just no balance of the other things that I desired. But anyway, we closed the relationship. And while the relationship was closed, this was during that phase of, like I said, I was miserable. I was mad with him, but again, taking responsibility. I was also mad, just mad. Again, I didn't even realize I was mad at myself. I was putting all the blame on him. But I was also mad that I had put myself in a space where I was financially relying on him. And I was miserable because I wanted to leave and I felt like I fucking couldn't. So I was miserable. And again, that's not really his fault. Like, it's not his fault that I couldn't leave because I didn't have the money to do so. Which, granted, again, I could have. I could have just went to my mom's house. Like, I could have just went to my fucking mom's house while I figured it out. In the meantime, I don't know why that did not seem like an option. Like, I don't know why the fuck that didn't seem like a fucking option for me. But it just didn't. But anyway, while our relationship was closed, I had met someone and I wanted to see this person. Like, I wanted to see this person. And I asked him if we could open it. And I can say that that was manipulation. And I remember when he found out or whatever, he asked me if this is why you asked if we could open the relationship back up. But he agreed. He was like, yeah, like, whatever, that's fine. We can open it back up. And I did that to basically have free will to date this person. And I crossed that line, the line that we were never supposed to cross in us being in an open relationship. And if I'm keeping it a buck with y'all, I never felt guilty. I still don't feel guilty. I don't necessarily still wish that I did it just because of who it was, but I never felt bad for doing it, if I'm being honest, because at that point, I remember the day that it happened, like the day that I crossed that line, and the argument that we were having on the phone where I was talking about flowers and just simple romance. And I remember Chris blatantly telling me I don't want to do that. He was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to give. I remember spelling out what I wanted. And he was like, I'm not doing that. While I was literally in the presence of the other person. And I was like, bet. Bet. So one thing I can say about me, and anybody that knows me can attest to this, I'm a real bitch and I am honest. Okay. So I would have told him, I would have, if I knew that we were going to stay together. Because again, in hindsight, I ended up staying for a whole nother year after that. But I did not realize that at the time. I think we could be breaking up within 2 months, if that, right? So I didn't see a point in telling him what I did because I felt like I would be hurting you for what? Why would I tell you this just for us to break right up? And some people may call that manipulation. Again, I'm real. I don't really think that's manipulation. I more so think if we were staying together, yes, I'm going to tell you, because how are we going to progress in this relationship if you don't even know something that I did, right? But if we're about to break up, why would I tell you something that's going to hurt you and it doesn't help either of us? It doesn't help you. It doesn't help me. It's just going to hurt you, because one way or another, the relationship is ending. So why I'm about to tell you something that has nothing to do with why our relationship is ending. It's not like I cheated and it's oh, I need to come clean because he would leave me for this. It wasn't like that. It was more again, this, I'm not gonna say because that sounds really petty, but that's why I never told him, right? So what made you tell your friend husband that you cheated? That's a whole nother story. Just real quick, because I told that story on Instagram and I don't want to get into it too much because I gotta hurry up and do my makeup. Oh shit, my friend is here. He's getting Uber to my house right now. Hold on, because I'm trying to. Now I really got it because my friend is coming now and I got to fucking film. I didn't think he was coming. Okay, he'll be here in damn, I don't know, but I got to figure something out because my best friend is coming. So let me hurry up and tell me the story about my friend, because now I gotta hurry up. Well, not really, because I'm not even gonna have time to film it. I'm just gonna have to film it while he's here. Where my mascara go? But real quick, because I'm going off on a whole nother story now, and I don't want to confuse, because I still gotta go back and like read y'all comments. So real quick on my friend, because I know y'all thinking like, girl, how you gonna sit your friend and you da 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 da? I know what y'all thinking. It was not like that. So real quick, basically, she was married, for one. That was not boyfriend and girlfriend. If they were boyfriend and girlfriend, I would not have snitched. They were married, for one. For two, and I could get into more details, because again, I still feel like even when I talked about it on live, a lot of people may not agree with me, and I just feel like I don't have the time right now to explain everything that transpired and just how conniving it was what she was doing. Like, it was repetitive. It was an entire affair. They had just got married. He was losing it, like, because he suspected that she was cheating, but he didn't have proof. Her friends was lying to him. Everybody was lying to him. But he was the type of husband that was integrated into her friend's life. So he wasn't our friend, but he was the type that she come to my birthday party, he's coming, and he's like, friend, like, you know, hey, best friend, like, let me buy you a shot. Like, he was a good person. Like, not even, I wouldn't even call him my friend, but just a good person that was integrated completely into her life with all of her friends. And because of that, her friends knew that she was cheating on him. And he was calling, asking people, like, what's going on, like, felt like she was cheating. And it just got really nasty, how conniving she became and keeping her affair up. And I just felt really bad. There's a lot of details that, again, I don't have the time to get into, and I'm also not going to really lay out someone else's dirty laundry on here. But essentially, it just was really fucked up. It was just really fucked up. So do I regret telling him? No. Do I wish I went about it a different way? Yes. I wish I would have just told her about herself and cut her off instead of telling her man. But it was just nasty. It was just really nasty. And I ain't even about to get into all that, but it was just fucking nasty. But in retaliation, she went and told Chris about the guy. She added a whole bunch of extra too. Like, she added a whole bunch of extra shit to add some fluff to make it worse. Let me tell you how much this man loved me and trusted me. She sent him that message, and he went and took a shower. I went in his phone and saw he was a really good person, and she was taking advantage, basically, like, in a nutshell. But it was one thing before he didn't have any inkling, but it was another thing once he thought she was cheating and he almost had proof but didn't have concrete proof, and she started to gaslight him, like, I'm leaving you, I'm moving out because I can't, you don't fucking trust me, when she was lying the whole time. And I told her that. I'm like, bro, like, did you forget that you're actually lying? Like, you saying that to him is one thing, but she on the phone with me, like, and can't see. That's why I'm getting too much into it. This is somebody else's tea. I don't got nothing else to say about it. I don't got nothing to say about that, because again, that's somebody else's tea, and I'm keeping this video up, so let me just shut the fuck up about that, because it's not my business to be sharing. But anyway, he was in the shower, and I went and picked up his phone, and I saw that she had sent him like this paragraph on Instagram with like screenshots of me talking about the guy to her or whatever. So I blocked her and deleted the message out his phone. But I saw that she kept going. Like, she kept going. So I realized at that moment that I needed to come clean, because I would rather him hear from me than somebody else. So I sat on the floor and I told him what I did. And he was like, so you fucked him? And I was just like I did. And he was like, he said, and this, I'm gonna tell you the part that broke my heart before I tell you everything that was said. But I basically told him, and I was crying because I felt bad in that moment. I'm not even gonna lie. I felt very bad in that moment. I didn't regret it in present time, but in that moment, I felt real bad. And I'm gonna tell y'all how that ended up turning out. I felt really bad in that moment. And he was like, well, for starters, he was like, I seen the message. Like, I seen it before you seen it. He said, I thought the bitch was lying. That's how much he trusted me, that he didn't even believe her. He didn't question me. He didn't ask me, but he thought she was making the shit up. So that was the first thing that, when he said that, it broke my heart, because it just made me realize how much you trust me. That broke my heart when he said that. Like, I didn't believe her. So I wasn't even about to bring it up to you. I thought the bitch was lying. So that was the first thing. I was like, damn. Then when he remembered like the time frame that it was, because he knew I was dealing with the guy. He just didn't know that I had, like, crossed that line. He was like, well, honestly, he was like, shit, like, That's on me. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to. And that's not an excuse of me excuses of cheating. This is literally like what he said. He was like, shit, like, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. That nigga was there when I wasn't. So it is what it is. That's what he said. Then he said, and this is the part where me telling him that and what he told me after that was fucking unnecessary. It was just hurtful for both of us because this is at the point we had moved into his new place now. I had already had a ticket, or I think I got the ticket a few days later to be leaving the relationship 2 weeks after that. So this is like, we knew that this was our last 2 weeks together, which is why it felt irrelevant and unnecessary to share that information because we already know that we're breaking up and it don't got nothing to do with infidelity. So why am I about to tell you something that's going to hurt you? For what? It's not changing anything. All it's going to do is hurt you. Why this man tell me he like shit because I done did my dirt too. Huh? My tears sucked up. I said, say what now? Say what now? These are not sad tears. These are like from me laughing. I swear these are not sad tears. These are like laughing tears. But he said, talk about some fucking Uno reverse. He said, yeah, because I did my dirt too. Tears dried up. I said, you said what now? Like, what? Like, what? Different conversation now. I said, what do you mean by that? And, what the fuck is that? I think he essentially, I don't know. I don't think he ever actually cheated because that's what he said. Again, if he did actually do something with somebody, I never knew about it. And I'm glad because again, it wasn't changing anything. It just it left a sour taste in both of our mouths during our last 2 weeks together. Like we knew we were breaking up. We were amicable about that. We were still conducting ourselves like a couple. So it was just a nasty taste in our mouths about each other. I don't think he was lying just to get back to me. He's not that type of person. It was a year before. It was a whole year before. A whole year went by. Because like I said, when it happened, I'm thinking we about to break up within 2 months. I had cheated with that guy a few months after my birthday. So like in like April. And my birthday's in January. We didn't break up until March of next year. So this conversation has happened like the last week of February of last year. So he basically, because I asked him like, what you mean you did your dirt too? He basically said like the last time he went home, he said he was about to have sex with somebody, but he didn't because he didn't have a condom. So he basically said that he didn't cheat, but that he was about to, and the only reason that he didn't cheat was because he didn't have a condom. So I was just like, okay. I had my own thoughts about what drove both of us to cheating. And this is not me excusing either one. Let me just get that disclaimer. It's not me excusing either one. But it does just, I feel like there's a difference between women cheating because they are missing something in their relationship, which again, that does not excuse anything. Just leave, and that's for myself, just leave. But there is a difference between cheating because you feel like you are lacking or missing something in your partner and a man being horny and bored. It takes a whole lot less to be horny and bored, and that can happen at any moment regardless of what's going on in your relationship right now versus being at a place where you're not ready to leave your man and you're frustrated with the lack of things that you're getting, so you cheat because of that. And again, this is not me excusing anything. We were both fucking wrong, definitely more so me than him, because I really did something with somebody else and he apparently did not. So again, I was fucking wrong. I am not saying this as an excuse, just talking about what drove both of us to make that decision. It was like, damn, I did it because you didn't have your shit right. You did it because you was home for the first time without me and you getting a little froggy and decided to fucking jump. So this is what I mean where I say that after this, the ending of the breakup, I mean, the ending of the relationship was amicable and it was agreed upon, but it got nasty. And here's where it got nasty. So after that, we were good. And what I mean by I think that more so him than me, because I wasn't really dead hurt about that situation. Him telling me he was about to do something. I was hurt, but I wasn't like, I ain't had no room to be hurt about that, knowing what I did with that man. Like, I didn't have no fucking room to be hurt. So the next 2 weeks before it was like time for me to actually leave, we was just acting like a couple still. Like, we literally was just acting like a couple. And he ended up having a death in the family. This is where things went left. But I feel like everything happens for a reason. He ended up having a death in the family and had to fly home. I had already put his shit on my phone. And this is, again, I don't know why I did this. I was hurting myself. I was hurting myself because I knew we was breaking up. I already had the plane ticket to leave. Why would I put this man Instagram, Twitter, Facebook on my phone to see what the fuck he's doing when we about to break up? That was just me just inflicting pain on myself for no other reason than me just wanting to know. Because I couldn't have said nothing and I wouldn't have said anything. It was pointless. Even if he was doing something, it was no point. Even if he had somebody in that time, what's even the point of bringing this shit up when we bought? Like, it would have been irrelevant. It did not matter at that point. And he had always been, that's irrelevant. But so he leaves to go home for a funeral, and I got all his stuff on my phone. Y'all, the second that man touched down in Tampa, he was showing his behind in the DMs trying to find women to you know what. And I was pissed. I was pissed. I ain't even gonna lie, I was pissed. But I was still gonna stay, right? And it's the craziest thing. That's like everything happens for a reason. Because what drew me to leave wasn't even, it's like nothing had nothing to do with nothing, but everything lined up so that I could fucking leave before I was supposed to leave. Mind you, again, I had the flight for like 10 days away from this particular day, this weekend that he's gone. The whole weekend, y'all. As his messages is coming in on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, I'm seeing everything. So Sunday came, and Monday came, Saturday came, Saturday night. I accidentally jammed my thumb. Tell me if you remember how bad my thumb was junked up last year. I jammed my thumb, this thumb, so bad into the door. That is the worst pain I've ever experienced. It was worse than my wisdom tooth. It was excruciating, the pain that I felt in my fucking thumb. It was throbbing. I lost a whole nail and my thumb did not come back until August of last year. It took a very long time for my fucking thumb to come back, my nail. I slammed my finger in the door and it hurt so bad. I called him. I was back in his apartment by my damn self, watching all these messages come in with all these girls, right? And I called him crying about my thumb. And the level of disregard this man had, like, oh man, oh, I thought I lost my lash. He didn't really have no regard about my thumb, essentially. I was in excruciating pain. He ain't have no regard. We get off the phone. He's like, all right, man, I'll call you later. Granted, he probably didn't realize how much pain I was in. But when he hung up that phone, and immediately after that, I see him send a message to a girl trying to link up. I lost it. And granted, like, saying this now, like repeating this story now, it's like, girl. But I, like, in that moment, it's just kind of like everything coming down. Like, we was already breaking up. Granted, it was amicable and agreed upon or whatever the fucking case may be. But it still hurts, you know? So, yeah. Yeah, I felt like he was like, honestly though, I saw your message, Miss Renee, when you deleted, when he said he had no regard about me anyway. I honestly don't think that was the case. I think it was one of those things where he don't know how bad I'm in pain over my thumb. Like, realistically, calling him saying, babe, I slammed my thumb in the door, it does sound really petty. Like, it really does sound really petty. So I do not think it was a matter of not having regard for me. And again, I'm honest. If he didn't have regard for me, I would say that and be like, okay, rightfully so. Like, I'm not just saying this to make myself feel better. I do not think it was a matter of him having disregard for me. For one, he was drunk. Like, when I faced him, he was drunk and having a really good time with his friends. For two, your girlfriend calling like, babe, I slammed my thumb in the door. It sounds like not that fucking deep. Like, it really did not sound that deep. I knew I was in excruciating pain. I fucking watched my thumb. Because even when you initially slam it, it takes a while for it to even turn black. So me sending him my thumb, it literally just looked like I slammed it in the door. The next day it turned black. And then the day after that, it was swollen. And I had a big ass, like, as the days went on, you can see how bad it was. And again, if you never lost a fingernail like that, you don't know. Like, I wouldn't have even thought that it fucking hurt that bad until I experienced it. It was literally, I slept with like my thumb out and I woke up and the first thing I did was went and go get a fucking BC because that's how painful it was. But imagine, like, I'm just trying to put things into perspective. I don't think it was a matter of lack of regard for me. Because if that was the case, like if he didn't have no regard for me, my jaw, he was paying the bills. That was his place. And I didn't have my plane ticket yet. When he found out that I had cheated, he could have been like, oh, bitch, you can get that flight for tomorrow. When I was getting my flight, he could have, he could have carried me. He didn't carry me any different. So I don't think it was a matter of lack of regard. I think it was a mix between, we're both sad that the relationship is ending. And then I just feel like him finding about the infidelity was just a cherry on top, because I knew he was going to start dating new people anyway. But I feel like he got a head start on it because he just felt like, damn, like she leaving. And now this bitch want to tell me that she cheated on me a year ago. Man, fuck that bitch. So I feel like it was like that, but that didn't have anything to do with his lack of regard. Okay. I feel like I don't think it was a matter of lack of regard because of the infidelity, because again, he could have just kicked me out. That was not my place, and I was not paying for shit, and I didn't have my flight yet. So when I was getting my flight, he could be like, no, get the soonest one you can, since you want to fuck a nigga a year ago. Like, it wasn't like that. Like, we were still conducting ourselves like a couple. It was a little stiff in the air, but not too crazy. Like, we were still intimate. We were still conducting ourselves as a couple. It was just a little bit stiff in the air, if I'm being honest. So again, I think it was just like, it did not seem like a pressing thing, especially since my thumb just looked a little red. It didn't seem that fucking deep, but it was excruciating. That pain was great. I lost my whole nail after a while. Like, my whole thumb within 2 days turned black. This was like, it was crazy. That shit was fucking painful as hell. It was terrible. But make a long story short, because that was the whole fucking story, I end up leaving the next morning. I called my mom. That was like the last straw. And you're like, really, bitch? That was the last straw? Yeah. Because I was just, me being in excruciating pain in my thumb, and me watching you try to set up plays right now, and I'm over here in pain. I did not want to see him. I did not want to look him in his face when he came back. And I felt like if he came back, and I had to deal with him them last 10 days, that we would have gotten into it over something. Like, it was just not a good space. And I didn't want to get to a point where I hated him. I was very mad. Let me say this. I texted him after the whole thumb. I said, not you in Florida trying to get your dick wet. He said, what? What are you talking about? And I was like, oh, we're going to play dumb now? And he was like, I said, but it's cool. Like, I was just doing the most. Like, I was just like, it's cool if you was going to do that while we still having sex. Like, just speaking out of emotion, because logically it's like, girl, like, y'all literally about to break up. Like, logically speaking, it's like, why would you do that? But emotionally speaking, you're not trying to hear none of that. Like, I'm like, why we still fucking if you want to go down there and Like, I'm just emotional and mad. My fucking thumb hurt. I'm watching my nigga that I love, like, set up plays, and I'm just in this fucking apartment by myself with a fucking swollen thumb in pain. So I was just mad. So I'm texting him, and he was just like, I said, I'm leaving. Like, I'm fucking leaving tomorrow. He didn't respond. As a matter of fact, I think he didn't respond or something. Matter of fact, he just said, okay. Like, he just said, okay. And I'm like, okay. Okay. 'Cause I think I was bluffing to see if he was gonna be like, no, don't leave. But he was like, okay. Okay. So I woke up the next morning, and I told my mom, I was like, Mom, like, I had to get the money back for my flight. I was like, Mom, buy me a flight today. I'm leaving. I want to leave. She was like, Kanise, are you for real this time? Because I'm not getting you a flight if you just about to go back down there. I don't know what she said this time. I ain't never left my man before. So not too much, Miss Girl. Not too much talking about this time. Lady, I ain't never asked you for no flight talking about I'm leaving my man. Like, she's talking about, are you going to just go back down there in a few weeks? No, girl, I'm leaving. So I did just that. The next day, I fucking packed my shit. I went to the storage units. And because his stuff, like, my stuff was in storage, his stuff was like in the place, whatever the case may be. I went to the storage and took the little place stuff that I did have at the place. I put it in storage, grabbed the stuff that I wanted out of storage, packed my bag, and I texted him like, the keys under the mat. And he was like, okay. And then if you remember me doing the story time, if you scroll on TikTok, you can find my breakup series from last year. I had showed some messages where, like, a few days later, he basically texted me and apologized. And he just apologized about how he went about things. Like, he was just like, you didn't deserve that, and, like, I shouldn't have done that. And, like, obviously, like, I understood why he did it in hindsight. And I even knew that even while it was going on. Like, in present moment, it was very hurtful, but I'm a very logical person. I was just acting out of emotion like in that moment, but like logically, I wasn't mad what he did. I guess I was just mad how he went about it, and I hated that we ended that way because I never saw him again until months later when I went to go pick up my cat. That is the one thing that we both feel like was like, damn, we thought that we would have been able to end more like amicably, but like he said goodbye to go for the weekend, and we kissed like, love you, all right, see you Monday. And by Monday, shit hit the fan over the weekend. And I did not see him again for those months. So we did say that like we wish it didn't end that way. But at the same time, I'm not glad that it happened that way, but I feel like it would have been more painful to leave on good terms. When a man pisses you off, it gives you that oomph to leave. Even though me leaving had nothing to do with me being mad at him, if we would have just continued to be amicable, us saying goodbye would have been like, oh, like we would have went to sleep that night knowing the next day is the day that I'm leaving. Imagine that, like going to sleep with that pain in your heart and your chest, like this is the last night we're sleeping together. That would have been very sad. Us saying goodbye would have been very hurtful to end amicably. So by me being like pushed out that way, I feel like in the end it worked out a little bit better. So let me go up and let's try to catch up. All right, I think this is where I left off at. All right. So, am I abstinent until marriage? No, I am not. Those are hard to let you leave. When I treat you really good, going through that now, girl, I get it. As if you don't have a true reason to leave. Yeah, so relatable. Doing a bare minimum, put on the charger, da da da. If you're not celebrating me more than me, then what are you doing? No, seriously. He is a Scorpio. Did he forget he said he was going to plan it for you? I think he was just a person that just in general lacks intent, and that's just what it was. He was never really super romantic, but I didn't realize how bad it was because I was getting romance from other people. I don't want these lashes to get too dry, y'all. Okay. Trash people, they ain't come yet. Off topic, but I'm curious if you still believe in open relationships. So I don't know what you mean by believe because it's a real thing. Like you said, like, do you believe in it? Like, is it real or fake? You are, I think you're asking, like, is that something that I would want to do? I hope you get the difference in like the verbiage. Because like to say, like, do you believe in open relationships? Like, yeah, they're real. Would I do it again? No, absolutely not. Even the one that I was in was never planned. For people who know how we ended up in an open relationship, I did not go into that situation wanting to be in an open relationship. Like, no, I would never do that again. I would never do that again. And that is a perfect application. Yes, ma'am. Make sure they really squeeze together nicely. Abstinent until marriage, is it something you believe in or would try? I do believe in it for the people that want to do it. I was talking about this recently last week on my Instagram. on my Instagram live, I realized that I'm not a woman who can deprive myself of pleasure. If we're going to have this conversation, we can have this conversation. But basically, the topic was, we were talking about the difference between dark feminine energy and light feminine energy. And dark feminine women are driven by passion, and light feminine women are driven by intuition. And that, on top of the fact, these are topics that, again, I will be doing actual YouTube videos about: dark feminine energy, light feminine energy, dark masculine energy, light masculine energy, because I deeply study this stuff. Not from an aesthetic. I'm not talking about dark feminines wear dark colors and light feminine wear pink and fucking white. That's an aesthetic. I'm not talking about an aesthetic. I'm talking about actual dark feminine energy and actual light feminine energy. If you know me, you know I'm going to research anything that I'm fascinated about. And with that being said, hold on. So not only am I a dominant dark feminine woman, but out of the archetypes for women, I'm a dominant lover archetype, and dominant lover archetypes are also driven by passion. So it's like, now let me say, even though I'm not abstinent until marriage, I do not have casual sex. I am not. That's actually the story time that I was talking about on Instagram, because one of my guy friends shot at me, da 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 da, after I literally told that man I don't fucking have casual sex. So am I waiting till marriage? Absolutely not. Sex is a very important relationships for me. It may not be the same for everybody, and I completely understand that. Sex is important for me. I am passion driven, I am pleasure driven. And I do seek passion and pleasure in different things, in my art, in my career, in my day-to-day life, just with the simple things in life, in the clothes I wear around the house. I'm constantly seeking pleasure and passion. And with that being said, sex is one of the things that is a passionate thing for me, and it's something that brings me a lot of pleasure. And I'm grown enough and mature enough to realize that I'm not a woman who can deprive myself of that and be okay, if I'm being completely honest. But I do not have casual sex. I do not do, just sex for the sake of sex. It has to be a relationship that is going somewhere. So am I going to wait till I am married? No. It more so like the next person that I'm in a serious, I've dated the same person all year. I've only had sex with one person all year. I ended that relationship. The next serious situation that I am in, serious relationship that I am, it will be the person that I'm having sex with. So yeah. I learned something new every lot. Wait, what did you just learn when I was talking about dark feminine and like feminine energy? I can't wait to do the video on that. But if just to give you a quick little idea of like the difference between dark and light masculine and feminine energy. So light feminine women are driven by intuition. You would think Beyonce. Dark feminine women are driven by passion. You think Rihanna. Dark masculine energy is driven by power, Jay-Z, and light masculine energy is driven by achievement, LeBron James. So with all of these dark is not bad, light is not good, but each one out of the four have a negative side and a positive side, where you're operating in your light and you're operating in your darkness. So as an example, being a dark feminine woman, if I'm operating in a space of light, I can be a lot more mysterious, and men are often very intrigued by me. They're often trying to like figure me out, and I make their mind wonder. I'm very headstrong and very straightforward. Versus if I was operating from an unhealed version of dark feminine energy, that looks like not being receptive to any type of help from a man, not being so headstrong that I don't want to hear anything that they have to say and I'm receptive. That would be an unhealed dark feminine. If you look at light feminine, operating at its highest, healthiest, healed point, that looks like being submissive. But on the opposite side, it looks like being a doormat and allowing yourself to be taken advantage of. If you look at dark masculine energy, power, driven by power, in the positive light, they can be men that you may look to and who guide you in a nice leadership way. Versus the dark side to that looks like aggression and manipulation. If you look at light masculine energy, on the light side, I cannot think of it right now, but on the dark side of light masculine energy, looks like being, they're the ones that are driven by achievement. That looks like men being boastful, like constantly bragging about things. That's the unhealed version of light masculine energy. So again, dark is not bad, light is not good, but with each one, they all have healed and unhealed sides to them. But I'll be doing like in-depth videos about these. I was asking if you wanted one, not if you believe in them. Yeah, no, girl. Just real quick, I will talk about it another day, but like in our next live, if you guys are in here, bring up like how I got into that open relationship, because I've talked about it before, but just really quick, I did not go into that relationship wanting to be in an open relationship. We just started calling it that because we were single but living together, and it stopped making sense for people. So we just started saying, oh, we're in an open relationship, because essentially we were single. I did not want to be in a committed relationship with him because I knew he wasn't my husband, but I still wanted to be with him. And which is fine, but those lines got blurred once we lived together, because again, it's like when you live together to the public, it's like y'all go together, but it was like, no, we don't go together, but we live together. And it was just like, what? It didn't make sense. So eventually we just started saying like, we're in an open relationship, because that is more like, at least it has a name, rather than trying to say you single and we just moved to Houston together. It just became too much to explain all the time. So that's how the whole open relationship title even got placed on it. But it was never supposed to be open relationship. It was more like, we're not in a relationship, but we are dating, and we date each other more than we date anybody else type situation. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. So that wasn't a book when I learned that women fall in love through sex, and men about the hormones. That wasn't a book. I'm sure there are books on it. You might could type that in on TikTok though, like how men and women fall in love, and you'll find some information on it. But I'll be doing videos about that as well. How did you make that transition from religion? I struggle with that as well. That's literally what I'm about to film. My story of leaving Christianity. That's literally what I'm getting ready to film. Yeah, they both have pros and cons. Oh, the dark and light feminine energy day. Yeah, I find stuff like that just very fascinating. I can't wait to do this video today. But I'm about to get off here. I need to put I'm going to do my lip gloss and stuff, but I'm going to wait till I get dressed, because I don't want to get the lip gloss on my outfit. But I am going to put some mascara on my bottom lashes. But I need to iron my dress and put something in my body. I haven't eaten anything, so I'm about to make me a little smoothie. And I don't know if I'm about to film right away. I need to film. This video is coming up on Monday, but my plan was to film it before my friend got here. And he's already on an Uber on his way, so I'm not gonna have time to. So I'm gonna just film it while he's here, however that go. Oh, I got some mascara on my eye. Yeah, no, I didn't read a book on that, but I've like read about it online and done my research. But now I kind of want to read a book on it. I wonder if there is one. I hope so. But I love the way my makeup turned out, very natural. Yeah, I'm about to my dress and get dressed. And I really enjoyed this live. Again, I'm keeping it up. This was a really great conversation. And moving forward, I think I'm just going to continue going live here on YouTube, because I'm keeping this up and people will be able to see it and check in and everything like that. But since I got jump starts on, you always jump in, so you're on internet. Wow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You've really been here since the beginning. I wasn't even a year on YouTube. Keeping it up. yeah, I haven't said anything crazy. I feel like enough time has gone by. I haven't, you know, bashed anyone. Why'd you say law? Because now you got me over here like second guessing. Like, I feel like this was a good live and I gave like my story without really saying too much. If I feel like it's becoming like a thing though, I'll take it down. But for now, I don't really see anything wrong with anything that I said. I stand behind everything I said. So, I don't think you should. Wait a minute, Katrina, why? Do y'all agree? Do y'all agree? Like, what about this story? What part? Before I get off real quick, because like, why are you saying that, girl? I think I'm gonna style my hair. I don't know. My opinion, I don't know. I told y'all, you gotta make it make sense for me. If I can reason with you, I'm like, all right, yeah, I agree. Not you just got here and didn't get to hear the story. Like I said, if this becomes a thing, trust me, I'm gonna see the comments before anybody else because I'm gonna get notified when comments come in. I heard you can't edit a live. I don't think I said anything bad. All I did was tell the story. I really don't think I said anything. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get y'all sick. Y'all better put a mask on. I don't know. I don't think it was bad. But my friends don't be better than anybody. And they know me well enough to share a different perspective. So when my friend watch it, I'm gonna ask her what she think. Like, friend, you think I should take this shit down? And if she say like, yeah, friend, she'll tell me why. Cause I'm asking y'all why. Cause if y'all give me a reason, I'm like, damn, you're right. I ain't think of that. I should take it down because I did say that one thing that I forgot about. But I don't think I said anything that's like, I ain't really say. I told my story, but I didn't like say anything bad, right? I don't know. I don't think I said anything crazy. If y'all worried about, like, I feel like the only thing that would make me want to take it down is if it turned into a bashing session for someone else, then that would take me down. But like I said in my live last week, I'm really glad that I've gotten to a space in my life. You evolve spiritually and you grow up like as an adult. You stop giving a fuck what people have to say from a spiritual level and from a maturity level. From a maturity level, it's just like, I go through things, y'all go through things. I'm not perfect, y'all not perfect. So on a maturity level, why would I care about somebody judging me when I'm human? Like, that's nothing to be ashamed of. You know what I'm saying? And again, I've talked about it more than a year past when it happened. I can see if it was fresh and I was still healing from it and everything like that. I cheated 2 years ago. I was a completely different woman. And we broke up over a year ago. I'm a completely different woman from that. So much time has went by that can't nobody judge me for something that I have healed through. The second thing, on a spiritual level, I understand that everything that we do to others, we do to ourselves. So if somebody is judging me, all I can do is wish that they find love and light, because if they are judging me, it means that they find judgment in themselves in some areas. That's just how the laws of the universe works. Everything that we do to others, we do to ourselves. That's just the laws of the world. Everything. So on a spiritual level, somebody can come this way trying to be nasty towards me. They're being nasty towards themselves, whether they believe it or not, whether they realize it or not. That's the laws of the universe. So, and that's just something that, again, me growing as a spiritual being, that is something that I've realized on that level. So with that being said, unless I said something that hurt someone else, because even though I have making peace with everything and everything like that, and I don't give a fuck about what anybody has to say, that doesn't mean necessarily that the people that I have talked about, but that's why I was careful not to go into too much details about my best friend. Also, I don't think people even know who my best friend is. She's not on my Instagram. She's in none of my YouTube videos. So unless you've caught few story posts here and there, nobody even knows who the fuck my best friend was. But I didn't get into details about that. And even with Chris, I shared my story and he was a part of that. So yes, I talked about him, but I didn't get into details about we were incompatible about, you know? Like, I didn't say anything where I feel like people could come back and bash him. That would make me take it down, though. So I hope that people won't come here being nasty towards him, because that man didn't do nothing wrong. Like, he wasn't perfect, I wasn't perfect, but if we had to pick who was the problem in a relationship, it was me. Like, and I'm mature enough and grown enough to admit that. Like, I'm pretty sure that I had that man through the ringer, and I didn't realize that. I will say that I was not intentionally inflicting pain on him. Even being in an open relationship, I was not intentionally trying to inflict pain on that man. Hurting people hurt people. I was hurting. I was trying to heal from that very toxic relationship I was in. And in doing that, everything that I was doing romantically was a byproduct of me not being healed. And again, in present time, while it was happening, I didn't realize that my perspective on the open relationship and everything was not like that. That's something that I've journaled and reflected on now that time has passed, the relationship is over, and I have time to be alone and face myself and look at my shadow and realize, like, okay, girl, you wasn't perfect, he wasn't perfect, y'all wasn't compatible, but if somebody was the problem. So I feel like I share more of my tea. I kind of hate that word because it always sounds like mess, but it's really just life. I don't look at it as tea. I look at it, it's like, okay, I'm spilling the tea, the stuff that people didn't know about. It's like, okay, it's tea, but tea is somebody's life. Like, if we keeping it a buck, whether it's celebrity tea, whomever tea, somebody's like, oh, spill the tea. That's somebody's real life that they going through. Like, it's tea to you because you ain't going through it, but that's my real life. So that's nothing to be ashamed of. Everything that I've experienced has one way or another brought me here. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm about to on my dress and get dressed. I'm starving. I'm about to make a smoothie. And you lovely ladies, thank you so much for coming in this live. Katrina, African Queen, Jay, lovely Shanika, Daya Dior, Natalie, Janae, Mary Red. Thank you so much. Barbie Ruffin, Letitia, Megan. Thank you, Jay, Tanya. Thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all coming in and just making this a safe space for me to be able to just talk about my life freely without judgment and engaging and just being with me this morning while I did my makeup and stuff. But I really do want to film this video right now, but I can't. So I'm gonna just make a smoothie, and I don't know when I'll be back on live, but again, moving forward, I'll try to plan them. So at least if you're like on Instagram, you can know that like a live is coming and can like do the little reminder thing so you can at least be notified or whatever. But I love you. I love you. I love you. And thank you so much for coming into this live. Bye, y'all.